Hello and welcome to another episode of Coach Jon Runs His K-Hole. I am your friendly neighborhood youth coach, Coach Jon, and as always, thank you for tuning in. I want to apologize for my absence the last couple weeks posting podcast. Life caught up with me, school is finally out, and I should be back to a more consistent posting. People think those last couple weeks of school for students is very chill, and it is, as it should be, but for teachers, it's pure insanity. I had to get through that, and now I'm back, rested, recharged, ready to get talking. As always, a few shameless plugs prior to getting started. If you've not found and liked or followed our social media sites on Facebook or Instagram, please consider doing so. You can find us on Facebook at The Sports Reclamation Project and on Instagram at _Sports Reclamation Project. If you would like to support and represent the Sports Reclamation Project through the purchasing of merch, feel free to visit our shop at www.sportsreclamationproject.com and clicking on the shop link. Folks, that site is not just for the shop. There's a blog there, there's photos, there's templates, there's research I've posted, various things. You might want to dig around there and take a look. You might see something you like. I also would be amiss if I did not mention TrueVictory.com. Founded by the U.S. military veterans and first responders, True Victory is a sportswear and streetwear brand dedicated to building everyday champions on and off the field. Use promo code RECLAMATION for 15% off your purchase. Now, without further ado, let's dive into this week's topic. You know, they say as a parent or as an adult, they say never say never again. You tell your kids never say never, but we do anyways, and it never works out for us. Well, I said never. I decided last year, after a very tumultuous time, I was done coaching for a certain organization. I shouldn't have said never because I'm back with them. It's a little bit more peaceful now because I am not employed by said organization. I'm working solely as a volunteer, and that makes it a little bit easier for me. But I am back. I agreed to volunteer coach at my favorite levels, 3 to 5 and 5 to 7, where I get to teach the game and I'm coaching basketball. Stay tuned. There should be some fun stories with my 3-year-olds this year because they're hilarious. However, as we know, youth sports has kind of became cutthroat. Travel teams, high parental expectations, pointless showcases, the win above all else mentality. It's not a surprise it's becoming harder to find volunteer coaches. How hard is it to find volunteer coaches? Due to a coaching shortage, my one team of 5 to 7-year-olds has 15 kids. Usually there's about 8 to 9 per team. My 3 to 5-year-old team also has 15 kids. And this is solely due to lack of coaches. Coaches give their time year in, year out, and it's often for a lot of grief and very little appreciation. But we got to acknowledge the fact that sports parents and high expectations are not going away. They're not going away anytime soon, and they're probably only going to get worse. In order to do so and make it easier on coaches, I would like to provide a list of things I do before my first practice in order to kind of smooth the path between coaches and parents, and in hopes, if done, creates for a more harmonious relationship down the way. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say this has been perfect. I still get pushback occasionally, but if you put it out up front, you're ahead of it. You're proactive, something I believe coaches need to be. So here are a few tips for things coaches can do before their first practice. One thing I like to do first is reach out to parents personally. If a league has a meet and greet or first practice, they're often very chaotic. Nobody knows who is who. None of the parents know where they're supposed to be going or what is going on. Coaches don't know their players' level of experience, or any other extenuating factors that might be needed to be known in order to make sure that athlete gets a quality experience. However, I have found if you reach out to parents via text or phone call, you're afforded the opportunity to find out more about the player, the parents, what's needed for support, and any concerns they may have. Making that initial contact helps build that relationship. Beyond that, I also have a whole parent meeting. Some leagues do a meet and greet. Some leagues do straight to first practice. Make 10, 15 minutes and have a parent meeting. This is where you lay out everything for everyone at once. You explain your philosophy on playing time, practice, expected behaviors. This is where you also discuss with your athletes' parents your coaching guidelines, any issues that you may feel prevalent to your team's success. This issues such as playing time, parental involvement, behavior, things that are prevalent to your team's success. This meeting also is where you need to share your philosophy about the game. I've always been told a coach without a coaching philosophy is bound to fail. So share your philosophy and address as many concerns or questions that arise. Provide your coaching expectations in writing. Putting things in writing make it more official. We know that. We all know there's a lot of information coming towards sports parents at the first practice. I always recommend providing a coaching packet, just basically to provide your contact information, your coaching philosophy, appropriate times to call, parent and player guidelines. These allow parents and players something to review later if they have any questions about your team. You put that out there. By putting it out there, it gives them something to read. They might have a question or a follow-up, but it's on paper in front of them. You also want to discuss the in-game experience and practice experience with the players and parents. If you're the coach that likes to have a set starting lineup and rotation, your parents need to know. Do you have specific times you substitute? Your parents need to know. Do you assign players to learn one position and one position only? Your parents need to know. No matter what answers to those questions are, your parents don't know that. It's your job to let them know what each game and practice will be like. If your practices are conditioning heavy and very structured and rigorous and parents are not allowed at them, they need to know that. Parents need to know everything up front. What they don't know is what they don't know. And it's your job as a coach to clear the path so they're very aware of how everything goes. These conversations may seem like a lot of work, but I promise you, it's easier to be upfront. You'd rather be upfront with all this at the beginning of the season than dealing with a backlash from a frustrated parent in the heat of a moment. Now, I like to preface that by saying in-game experience does not mean you need to share your game plan or your strategies with your parents. That's between you and the other coaches, and that should not be debatable. But parents need to know what to expect from their child or with their child in their usage up front. You need to discuss your playing goals and season goals with your players and parents. If you're the type of coach who wants to win every game, development be damned, and you're only going to play your best 8, your parents need to know that. Are you a coach more concerned with developing players, which honestly, most youth coaches should be? They should be concerned with developing players and providing a learning experience, regardless of wins and losses. Your parents need to know that as well. If you're one that just wants the kids to play and have fun, or if you run a tight ship with a rigorous structure that will be followed, this needs to be told as well. If it's your goal to turn this group into a super team that becomes a traveling team in the oversaturated traveling market, that needs to be up front as well. Whatever your goal is, your parents need to know. You're not going to be successful as a coach if your parents and players are not on the same page. And by putting it out up front, if a parent realizes, you know what, this is not the team for my son or daughter, this is not the style for my son or daughter, it affords them the opportunity to go find something that benefits them. Seasonal goals need to be discussed up front and in a transparent fashion in order to achieve harmony and success. That is the only way you'll have a successful season as a coach, and this needs to be done at the beginning of the season. This does not need to be done while you're in damage control mode because parents are starting to get frustrated that their kid is not playing or their child is not developing, or you guys are losing more than you're winning. It needs to be put out up front. It's easier to have an unpleasant conversation early, than one when it's too late. Now, I want to be completely honest with you as I'm sharing these informations that even if you do all of this that I've suggested, you're going to still run into a parent or parents who want to question things and challenge your authority as the coach. I always tell parents, inside those black lines in my sideline is my domain with your child. Anything else outside of it is for you to decipher. But I promise, if you lay it out up front and stick to these, you'll provide yourself a better chance of surviving the season and wanting to come back next year. And you will also provide your players a better experience, leading to them coming back as well. There are several other things you could do prior to a parent meeting. These are the ones I follow. By getting ahead and addressing what you want, parents tend to get on the same page as the coach, and the season, regardless of success, tends to go a little smoother in that area. Because if you ask most coaches, the kids are easy, the adults make it difficult. These are ways to stop the difficult behaviors from ruining the experience. And that's about enough of that. Folks, the page is still growing. Again, I apologize for my absence there for a little bit. The insanity of end of school is done, so I should be back on here more frequently. If you like what you're hearing, please continue to follow us on our socials at thesportsreclamationproject.com, The Sports Reclamation Project on Facebook, or _Sports Reclamation Project on Instagram. If you have something you'd like me to discuss, a topic you want to discuss, a topic you want me to research, an incident you want me to look into, feel free to reach out to me on one of our social media sites or email me at Jon, Jon, at sportsreclamationproject.com. If you would like to come on the show as a guest, promote a book, promote a project you're working on, have a discussion with me, or even disagree with me, you're more than welcome to be on there. Just reach out to me on those socials. Until then, I hate to say that's it, that's all, but I hope you've had a ball. If you're going to your kids' games today, as always, be kind to the referees, thank your child's coaches, and most importantly, tell your kid you love watching them play. This is Jon with the Sports Reclamation Project, and we will talk later.